Praise the Lord, everybody.
Praise the Lord.
I will be coming from 2 Samuel, the 4th chapter, the 4th verse. And it reads, "And Jonathan, Saul's son, had a son that was lame of his feet. He was 5 years old when the tidings came of Saul and Jonathan out of Jezreel, and his nurse took him up and fled. And it came to pass, as she made haste to flee, that he fell, and he became lame. And his name was Mephibosheth." And then I'm going to go to 2 Samuel, the 9th chapter. I'm just going to briefly explain instead of reading because this is time sensitive. Basically, in the 9th chapter, David was looking for Jonathan's son. He sent people looking for him. And what I basically got out of this was that some of us are spiritually crippled, and we're in a spiritual Lodabar. And when I thought about that, I thought about we're spiritually crippled because of things that happen in our life. Bad marriages, divorces, abortions, addictions, generational curses, etc. We're spiritually crippled by that, and we're in a spiritual Lodabar. But what I got out of that was that there's a king looking for us. And when King David was looking for Jonathan's son, he didn't ask what condition he was in. He didn't ask where he was at. He said, "Bring him to me." And I come to let you know tonight that there's a king looking for you. He don't care what position you're in. He don't care what you look like. He don't care about your past, but he's looking for you. And as I continue to go, that our spiritual crippleness has caused us brokenness, and we're ashamed. And Jonathan's son was ashamed, and he had low self-esteem. And he said to King David, he said, "Why would you look for a dead dog like me?" And some of us are ashamed of our pasts, and we're ashamed of the situations, we're ashamed of our circumstances. But God said that he's nigh to them of a broken heart, and he said to such as of a contrite spirit. So we look at God and we say, "God, you can heal me physically, you can heal me from this," but we don't look at God to heal us emotionally. We take that on ourselves, and we feel that we have to get ourselves together, and we have to be in a certain position, and we have to be in a certain place before God can heal us, before God can deliver us, before God can use us. But King David looked for Jonathan's son just as he was. He didn't have to walk. He didn't have to be made up. And when he was in Lodabar is a place that nobody wants to go. It's not the turn-up place. It's a place where nobody wants to be at. It's a place where the drug addicts are. It's a place that nobody that is saved wants to be at. But King David said, "Go bring him from where he's at, because I have a place at my table that's set especially for him." So when he brought him, he said, "Because of who you are." And see, sometimes we forget who we are, and we allow our circumstances to take us in. But no, he said, "Because of who you are," because at the end of the day, you are still Saul's grandson. You are still the grandson of the king. And because of who you are, there's a place at my table set especially for you. I haven't forgotten about you. God hasn't forgotten about you. And I come to let you know tonight that just because you're where you are doesn't mean that God has forgotten about you. Just doesn't mean he doesn't have a place set for you. He's coming to get you where you are. And I'm going to leave you with this. Just because it crippled you, don't let it hinder you.